Just to get it out there at the beginning, myself and my wife Sarah here, we are bereaved parents. So this is to tell you about Ben's story. So this is our son Ben. He's the youngest of 3 boys that we have, and he has an amazing smile, which has been the inspiration behind everything that we do. I'm trying not to stand in front of him. I hope that's okay. Even from the day he was born, he was smiling. You can see here with his brothers. There's always a smile on his face. And Halloween, we're coming up to Halloween, not that far away, one of his favourite times of year. Here he is smiling at Halloween as well, rocking important safety glasses when you're making a pumpkin. And his favourite food item of all time, bananas. There you go. So Ben was full of pranks and mischief. He was always messing around, he was always making people laugh. I think if he was with us at the moment, he would be running around eating all the food and causing chaos. Is basically what he was about. And you can see from all these photos here, whether it's taking the mickey out of his uncle or taking the mickey out of his elder brother and calling him a loser, he was just messing around all the time. So a big part of his character. I wanted to tell you about the things he loved. So one of those big loves of his was the Beano, which I'm sure we're all familiar with, the cartoon character, and we were really pleased that Ben actually made it into the Beano himself, and did a whole comic strip about him on the back of one of their issues, which, to be honest, I should have brought with us today and share that around, but maybe we can circulate that another time. So to give you a flavour for Ben, I think the mischief thing really fits in with the Beano and his Bennis the Menace moniker. His second love was Harry Potter, smiling all the way here. He actually would definitely be a Gryffindor. When he had no hair during his chemo treatment, we often had a lightning scar painted on his forehead. Watching the Harry Potter movies was a big part of our time in hospital. Food is always a big one. I think 90% of the photos that we have of Ben are him smiling and eating food, whether it be cupcakes, cakes, or hot dogs the size of your head. Food was a big part, but probably the biggest part of Ben's life really is his brothers as well. So he's the youngest of our 3 boys. As you can see here, still smiling, and they're always having a lot of laughs. And I think it's easy to forget the siblings when you have a child with cancer. Even ourselves, when Ben was being treated, we had to ask family to look after the other 2 boys a lot of the time. Particularly poignant for us because our eldest son James went to university 2 days ago for the first time. So we're now a one boy family in our house rather than 3. So a big weekend for ourselves. But in June 2018, everything changed. Ben had some breathing difficulties. We went to the GP. GP gave him steroids. We went back that day. GP didn't see any difference, so he sent us to A&E. A bunch of x-rays. The word cancer said to us in a hospital ward, and 12 hours later we're in Birmingham Children's Hospital being told he definitely got cancer. It was a whirlwind for us. Everything changed overnight. He's still trying to smile through the whole thing. One of the things that really got disrupted at that time was obviously he stopped going to school immediately. He didn't go back to school that year and hardly went back to school at all. And this is one of the rare times when he was back in school and here as well. But that's important to us because when we were in hospital, which was a large proportion of his time on treatment, he wanted to connect with his friends still. So he asked us to send photographs of him smiling to the parents of his friends. And that's where the name Pass the Smile came from. And that's the name of the fund that we then set up. So the Pass the Smile was based purely on Ben's inspiring us, wanting to cheer his friends up even though he was in hospital. So the year of treatment was a lot of time in hospital and a lot of time trying to make as much fun and have some good experiences outside as we could. And this last photo here, where he's smiling sat in a basket, about an hour before then we were told there were no more treatment options for Ben. So even on that day, he's still laughing and smiling. And we try and hold on to that as much as we can. some photos don't need many words. I don't know if this, I don't think this is going to work, is it? Is this possible? We were fortunate enough to get a poem made for us, by the Coventry Poet Laureate to join the...
Benjamin Joseph Crowther, sender of smiles and infectious laughter, gifting silly photos to families, friends and teachers, messages of reassurance pressed into palms or left hidden in drawers, a builder of sandcastles and big ideas. The stones you threw into waves are still causing ripples. Bennis the Menace, with a brilliant sense of fun. Fake poos on the floor, snakes in the bathroom, cracked screens, plastic insects, whoopee cushions, and you were always happy to play along. On the beach in Pen Mamad, you had giant legs of sand and a mermaid's tail. Making memories with family and friends. You told bad jokes with exquisite delivery that made everyone laugh hysterically. A muncher of muffins and lover of lemon drizzle and party rings. Collector of good conkers and good friends in equal measure. A Pokemon hunter with sticks stored in your pockets. A painted rock treasure hunter, bird spotter, football kicker, and an honorary member among rugby players. Making passes and scoring tries in the front room. A collector of stories and reader extraordinaire. You travelled to far off lands and magical rounds. With round glasses and a lightning bolt scar, you transformed into a brave Gryffindor. With a plethora of spells and positive paper affirmations that are still being discovered. Now we'll continue our promise to you. We'll keep smiling.
Thank you. Yeah, there was a Coventry Poet Laureate when Coventry was a city of culture, approached us and asked to do a poem about them. Hopefully I'll get the next slide up. Oh, it's going to run. There we go. So, thank you for letting me tell you a little bit about Ben and why we do what we do. I could talk about him all day long. So Ben is the inspiration behind Pass the Smile, our special name fund at CCLG. And then we get into the bit that frustrates me and makes me passionate about why we do what we do, as well as Ben. Ben was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, which was a cancer that I had never heard of, and very few people still have heard of. And it's hard to say, never mind, even if you know what it is. There's some horrible statistics, 100, 120 children a year get diagnosed in the UK. These are the dates when the drugs that Ben was treated with, the chemotherapy drugs, were actually released. And there's been no drugs for rhabdomyosarcoma released since then. There's only been 13 drugs released since 1978, specifically designed for children's cancers. And it's those sort of numbers and the fact that nothing's changed in my entire lifetime for treating children like Ben that motivates us to do what we do as well. Because we believe it wasn't just the fact that he got cancer, it was the fact there was no treatment options. We did chemotherapy, and then there was nothing else. There was nothing that was going to cure him. There was some stuff that might buy us a bit of time, but he'd be horribly sick. So we want to change that. So we set up Pass the Smile. I now volunteer as an advocate in the PPI groups on CCLG, as Sarah's already mentioned. Also for the Vivo Biobank, which does tissue and blood storage from children patients and uses that for research. But I also get involved directly with research projects as well. I think I've done 10 now of different sorts. Mostly I focus on ones that are specifically going to help rhabdomyosarcoma patients. And the two biggest ones, Cancer Grand Challenge, these are $25 million projects. This one's to do CAR T-cell treatment, therapy treatments for children. It's called Next Gen Children with Solid Tumours, like rhabdomyosarcoma. And this is CUDAC, which is doing protein degraders for 5 different solid tumour types as well. If you want to know more about the science, go and find a scientist. But I will try and translate it as much as you can. But one other thing that I've done I'm really proud of is this is Dr. Darryl Green in East Anglia, and I saw this news article in 2023 about a new drug he'd launched that was going to trial for osteosarcoma patients. And so I contacted him and asked him whether he'd ever done any work on rhabdo or thought about rhabdomyosarcoma, and he hadn't. But he thought about it. So I worked with him, and pleased to say that he got funded to do his first rhabdomyosarcoma research project. I think is it the 1st of October? It is, isn't it? Oh, the PhD student starts today. Isn't that ironic? I just realised. So we're determined to try and make a difference. We do that through awareness raising. We do that by funding research through CCLG. And then we also get involved with trying to get more researchers to do more rhabdo research because there's a big gap.